we are saddened by these attacks committed to foreign nationals. These are acts of criminals, and we condemn this violence against our brothers and sisters. We are all Africans, and we are because you are.
My name is Thabo Ngumalo. Stay tuned to the Dear Businessman Show, proudly brought to you by the Daily Wrap-Up Show. Remember, success is a phase and not a lifestyle. Stay tuned to Dear Businessman, proudly brought to you by the Daily Wrap-Up Show.
Good news to all people in Kofifi land. Kofifi Fm and Kofifi Legal Incorporated have formed a partnership to help all Kofifi landers who are struggling with legal help and advice. For more information, contact 011-057-1714 or 011-472-9233. For urgent and serious legal matters, you can SMS or phone the following number after hours: 074-0800 555.
Kofifi Legal Incorporated. Ons gaan wetlik agter jou kyk.
Behind every successful nation, there are great women. Women of many faces, as spouses, mothers, friends, colleagues, and counselors, whose integrity, strength, intelligence, and influence translate into leaders, educators, entrepreneurs, governors, practitioners, developers, and pioneers. Who are these women? Where do they come from? How did they get there? And where are they going? Join us every Tuesday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. on the Lady Power Hour as we get up close and personal with some of the leading ladies in South Africa. This is brought to you by the Daily Wrap-Up Show on Kofifi FM 97.2, where it all began.
I'm hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it, let it take you away, and be hopeful, hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay, cause we hopeful. I wish that you could show some love.
What does it take to build a successful business? Is it perhaps the right connections? Or is it access to capital? What about the access to market? Is there a difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur? How do you know whether you have the right attributes to succeed in business? Can you develop a business acumen, or is it passed down from generation to generation? Join me, Thabo Ngumalo, every Wednesday evening from 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. on the Dear Businessman Show. Visit us on www.dearbusinessmen.co.za. Proudly brought to you by the Daily Wrap-Up Show on Kofifi FM 97.2, where it all began.
This is the Daily Wrap-Up. Welcome. In this show, in 2015, we bring you the very best. Tune in on Mondays and Tuesdays when we build a better nation, talking to politicians and civil servants. On Wednesdays, it's Empowerment Wednesday when we talk all things business and personal empowerment. Lifestyle Thursdays, we talk all things lifestyle. Tune in to the Daily Wrap-Up Show with me, Sipho Masigo, and James Siatelo as we inform, discuss, and empower you, Kofifi Lander, Mondays to Thursdays, 7 till 8 p.m. on Kofifi FM 97.2, where it all began.
It is 9 minutes after 7 o'clock. I was about to say 10 minutes after 7 o'clock. But thank you very much for tuning into the Daily Wrap-Up. It's a Wednesday, and this show is Dear Businessman, and it's going to be a fantastic show. I hope you've got your pen, your paper to make notes, because our guest this evening is going to blow you away with a lot of content tonight. And before we get into the crux of the show, let me say good evening to my comrade. Comrade, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm alright, are you, Honorable Sipho Masigo?
I'm very well, thank you, my brother. How was your day?
I had an easy day, productive,
Yeah.
but very easy.
Yeah. That's great, man.
And how was yours?
My day was, let me tell you how my day started. Né? I had to be in the city by 8:30. I was there by 9. I was in traffic for about 1.5 hours. And yeah, I had to do a broadcast to about 13 radio stations. So I did that broadcast of the mayor's speech, and which is going to be one of our top stories. And so I listened to the mayor for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, giving his state of the city's address. And yeah, so I was hanging around that side for most of my day. And I've just come from another cocktail functions with some of those MMCs. It was interesting to see people when they are merry, you know.
And,
so it was good.
especially
I had some
politicians.
interesting stuff too.
Especially politicians.
Yeah, politicians and the people that signed the check in the city. So it was interesting to speak to all those guys when everybody's having a good time. So that was my day. Interesting, right?
Very interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the way.
Pops is laughing. He's like, what is he talking about? So yeah, man. So that's how our day went. And I think let's look at those top stories, unless you've got anything on your side.
Sure, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's look at the
All
top
right.
stories. Yeah.
And I think also I want to mention that thank you very much to all the Kofifi landers that sent their messages yesterday for the show yesterday.
Yes,
and it proved to be a great success. And a lot of ladies were happy with having a show dedicated specifically to women. Lady Power Hour.
And I know we had a comment that you read just after the show.
Yes.
That you received late.
Also, yeah, I think I'll look at that comment a little bit later on, and we'll read it as we go along. And let's look at our top stories. I think the top stories would be fitting to look at what happened in the city of Johannesburg today. And this one says, migrants must play fair, Joburg Mayor. Migrants who come to Johannesburg with the intention of building businesses and offering services are good for the city as long as they play fair. So says the Mayor of Johannesburg, Mpho Pakstau. All of us must fight back with clearly voiced reason against toxic falsehood that economic opportunity is limited and that immigrants somehow may deprive local people by participating in our economy, he said during the State of the City's address. The reality is that the very opposite is true. The more people who actively participate in our economy, the more opportunities there are for all. Tau told those present at the address that Joburg's vibrancy and diversity was based on the fact that it was a city built by migrants. So the truth of the matter is, as much as we, a lot of people, I sat in a table during lunchtime, people who were very aggressive against migrants, and I thought about the fact that this city was actually built by migrant workers. That our forefathers came from rural areas. They came here looking for work into the big cities, and they came as migrant workers. We are all migrants of the city.
Yeah.
And, I don't think anybody has any hold over the fact that they own the city. So, and basically that's the crux of what the mayor said in that particular news clip. And but the mayor said a lot more than what the story actually says. And the theme for this year's mayor speech was turning challenges into opportunities, and this was broadcasted to 13 radio stations across the city, and also live on Soweto TV, as well as the speech analysis were done by 3 other commercial radio stations. And the guys were actually trending. I was speaking to the communications team before I came here. They told me for about 7 hours they were trending on Twitter, so that was very good. And I got an opportunity to interview the chair of chairpersons. His name is Soli Mokhase, who spoke to me about the role of politicians playing an oversight role over the legislature, and playing an oversight over the officials who are supposed to deliver the services. So that was very good. And he also touched on the public participation process that needs to happen around the city, and which was very good, because he touched on the fact that there was an IDP process that was happening around the city. The last one was happening in Wembley Stadium on Saturday last week, and before that, every region, the city went down to the ground to speak to people and say, what is it that you want to see in your ward? what is it that you want to see in your region, and tell us, and then we'll take all that information, we'll put it together, and as we know that the IDP process is going up until 2016. That is the term where the current leadership of the city will be coming to an end. But
and of course, in Westbury as well, we had that IDP event where Kofifi Land has engaged with city officials from different departments here.
Absolutely. And just to touch on what the mayor said, the mayor wishes all the ladies, all the mothers, a happy Mother's Day. He goes on to say, allow me to take this opportunity, Madam Speaker, to wish my mother, Ellen Tau, a happy Mother's Day. May I preempt my children in equally wishing their mother, my wife, Pilisiwe, a happy Mother's Day. To my sister, Tilly, to you, Madam Speaker, and all the mothers in the city, indeed, our country, a happy Mother's Day on Sunday. And for the first time, the mayor was dressed differently. And he says he actually acknowledged these two guys, actually the three guys. He says, today I'm proudly dressed by Kwandile Dladla, Nkululeko Makubo, and Jacob Nakedi. And these are the guys who dressed him. He says these are fashion designers in the city. But the mayor went on. I mean, this is a 16-page speech in front of me. And there's so many issues that he's touched on, and I'm sure Kofifi Landers can touch that on and catch the speech on other Verio TV stations that will be broadcasting it. But yeah, overall an interesting speech, and I also got to speak to a few opposition parties as well. Well, I spoke to one of them, and who is Councillor Shale, who is about to who told us what his views were.
Was he very critical?
He was interestingly critical. And remember on Monday we spoke about the water issues. And
yes, we did.
When we spoke about the water issues, the MMC Fikwe spoke about the prepaid water meter systems to say we are facing a challenge in terms of water scarcity in the country. And if we don't do anything drastic about it, we are going to face problems. And yet, listen to what Councillor Shale had to say.
Sure.
Are you ready for this one?
Sure, let's do it.
Cool. His annual speech that he delivers. It's called the State of the City's Address. And with me right now is the Chief Whip of the PAC. His name is Councillor Leshonolo Shale. He's here to speak to us and just to give us his views as the PAC as to what he thought about the speech of the mayor. Abu Shale, welcome to the Daily Wrap-Up. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Abuti, you heard the speech of the mayor. I mean, in your view, is it something new or is it the same old speeches?
Yeah, well, look, there's this thing of doing things by the mayor, which is quite interesting. Like this theme was called turning challenges into opportunities. You know, there are positives there and there in relation to youth employment. You know, he talked about vulindlela around youth, you know, SMMEs, job creation, and Josie at work. But essentially we thought that this is the mayor's chance, as this is the last financial year in terms of our term, the financial cycle. Remember, our term ends in 2016.
Yes.
So we thought this is an opportune moment for him to do what we've always asked council to do, for the mayor to reverse the program of the installations of prepaid meters in townships. That is a very sensitive matter to us, and it is close to our heart and it's close to the communities. The communities are telling us that there are technical problems with the installation, that they don't know how really the system works, so there was a lack of public participation or public consultation there. And also, there's a question of affordability. What type of communities are we serving as the city of Johannesburg? The bulk of those communities are poor. Can they afford the prepaid meter system? The answer is no. Granted, the mayor always talks about conserving the scarce resources. He talked about it today. But really, as the PAC, we don't buy into that argument of scarcity. And if it were true, we are saying that the installation of prepaid